Hi, Roy here. Welcome to the training. In this module we'll talk about how to create lists and messages. These make up the building blocks of any campaign, and that's where we cover those first. So if you go to investmentnavigator.io and sign into your account, you'll find here on the menu that we've got lists. And these lists can be added to campaigns. You can add multiple lists to a campaign. It's not just one, but you can use multiple ones. And by default, you'll find that there are already lists added to your account. And so we've added some basic lists for you, and some example of that is all pension funds, European pension funds in the United States, and then of course we got these three categories on family offices. We got it on wealth managers, individuals and angels, VC firms, private equity, fund of funds, etc. So, once you built a campaign, you can simply add those and you're off to a good start. But in some cases, you may want to consider creating custom lists if the current list doesn't suit you. Now, there are two types of lists. There are static lists and there are dynamic lists. So a static list, it simply means that you will need to add contacts to that list manually. And a static list doesn't change unless you make changes to it. A dynamic list, however, has a filter associated with it, and that filter may say that this list should contain all family offices in the United States. And when the underlying database change and we add more family offices, your list will automatically be updated. And the dynamic lists are the most common ones to use. Now, if you want to edit a list, you simply press edit and then OK. If you want to delete a list, you simply press delete. But let's go in and create a new list. So you can do it by pressing new here and give it a name. So let's say family offices California. Now you go to filter. Now you want to select dynamic, otherwise you would press static and you save it. But let's select dynamic, and then you can filter on investors. So you can search for investors or people. If it's investors, then press investors. And then same thing here, filter or exclude. And then you add a filter. So let's say we want family offices. And they need to be in California. So you select locations, includes any, and then you use search for California and the state. And then you can just save and close. And then this is the list. You can edit it or you can just close it. That's one way to create a list. The other one would be to go to prospect and then investors or people, and then to create a filter. So let's say we do, this time we'll do endowments in California. And then you simply press create dynamic list from the filter. And here you see that it's automatically added. And then you're gonna give it a name, of course. And then again, you can just press save and close. But since we've already created this list, I'm not gonna do that. I want to say something else as well. When you have a list, and especially when it comes to static lists, I mentioned that you gotta add people manually, and you do that through prospect here. Here you can select contacts. You can select the whole page or all the results, etc. And then you press add selected contacts to list. And then you select which list you want to add it to. And you can add these people to a dynamic list or a static list. Like I said, a static list will not update, but a dynamic list will update as the database change. But if you add a contact that is not within the filter and normally wouldn't be added, and you add it manually, it will still stay in that list. It won't be removed just because it doesn't match the filter. So you would select the list and then just press add to list. That's it. Now I want to talk about messages. There are two types of messages mainly. It's emails and then LinkedIn messages. So let's first here create a new email. You give the email a name, and this is just for your own reference. So let's say test email. And then here you can see you can select track email opens. So when someone opens an email, that will show on the dashboard. And then you can track email clicks. So if you have links inside your email, it will track the number of clicks. However, that's not recommended, and the reason for that is because it can affect email delivery rates negatively. There are spam filters, etc., who check the email content, and if you have links in there, that can be negative. Same thing typically applies to attachments to email. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to put a PDF in my email, I don't recommend it. Instead, upload the PDF somewhere on the internet and then just include a link in your email. That will be delivered much better. And then there are two other tabs: email HTML version and email plain version. So if they read their email and it supports HTML, so that is for example pictures and different formatting types, which is default on email providers, they will see this version of the email. But if they've got a setting that says only get the emails as text, then they will see this version. So you want to put both in there. So normally you would create the HTML version of the email, and then you would copy paste the text over here. And here we got two buttons, first name. So this will be replaced by the contact's first name. It could be first name, this is my test email, regards, Roy. And then you would copy paste that here. And this is an HTML source code editor. So here you can, if you have the HTML of the email, you can copy paste it here and just save. And then you gotta set a subject on the email, and that can also be first name, how are you, for example. And then you just press save and close, and that's your email. Now let's go to LinkedIn messages and press new. Again, give the message a name. It's for your own reference. Again, go to LinkedIn message. Here, message type. So there are three types. When you send a connection request on LinkedIn, you're able to include a little message with the invitation. And that message can be up to 300 characters. So if that's what you want to do, select invitation, compose a message, let's connect, and then you would save it. And then you may also need a normal message that goes to somebody that you've connected with. And then you would select message type connected and save it. And then there's a third type of message that is not very common. And to be able to use this on LinkedIn, you need to have Sales Navigator, the premium service. An open profile is a profile that can receive messages without you being connected with them. It is not very common. I think it's only like 10 or 20% of people that have that. And when they do, they typically also have premium. But it's an option to create this. And when you do, you need to provide a subject line. Because when you send an open message, you have to have the subject. And then press save and close. And then if you need to go back and edit your messages, you just press edit on the message. And if it's already associated with a campaign, don't worry about it. You can still edit it, and the next time it goes out, it will be the new version. So these are templates. These are templates for the messages that go out. And the same message can be added to several different campaigns. And a message will have statistics associated with it. If you just press the message, you'll find here that there's statistics. So how many messages have been scheduled and how many have been sent. And if you press here, you'll see what the message says. And here, typically, you'll see what contacts have received the message. And same thing on email. There will be statistics here. And the dashboard will, of course, show everything combined together. That's it for this training. Thank you.